Salad or Dolly, threw a great party. We all drank Bacardi, it got kinda gnarly. We're light as a feather, we're tougher than leather. Together we're weirder together.
It's Weirder Together podcast. We're in March 2025 and unbelievably, well, not unbelievably, but in a move that has surprised nobody, yet delighted everyone who loves you. Ione Sky, your memoir, Say Everything, debuted at number 13 in the New York Times bestseller charts last week. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How's it feel?
It feels incredible for someone who, well, I got a taste of how one of the reasons why it felt good was
My Yiddish Vacation.
well, having all the publishers.
Yes.
So to explain what that is, I put out a kid's book and there was a narrative in the kid's book, which kind of helped me realize that I could write in a narrative kind of way. But cut to, I've got the book, the proposal, and there was that like bidding war scenario. Having all these intelligent people in the literary world say that they thought my writing in this proposal was so incredible. It was so good for me. I didn't graduate high school, terrible in school, always a little nervous about, the worst speller, all of these things. So to have my mind and my work praised in that way was new to me because I was, as an artist, people liked me, but not as like somebody with a thinking brain in that way. So that was great. And then having the book come out and be kind of regarded in a respected. So it's like a fun read, but also I'm getting applauded for a depth and like a intelligence that for me is very satisfying.
Would it be fair to say that you are experiencing an unprecedented level of dick riding?
I feel like
As the kids call it.
That I've always had. Well, does that mean getting my flowers?
Yeah,
No.
that means like people are feeling you.
Well, it's all
Yeah.
become cohesive. Like
Yeah,
people
yeah.
were like, "Oh, I always liked her if they knew anything I was in and all of that." But this is like put it all in one petri dish of like, "Oh yeah, I did love her as an ingenue in those movies, and she does seem fascinating and this and that." And now it's just like cohesive. People are like, oh yes, she's this person. It just made it clear who I am.
And you're not getting like numbed because you're every day, like we're waking up and it's like people telling you the book, they were sobbing.
I love
so
that.
intense.
The things I've loved. So I've just done this publicity tour in LA and New York for a month, which was nonstop hip hop. And one thing was fun. We had a big party for friends and family in New York and one in LA, as well as all the like straightforward press. And it was like a reunion. So the one in LA was sort of wild because I've been living in Sydney. So it was like seeing all my friends at the Chateau Marmont packed, reading these passages from the book. So I'm seeing people for the first time, but in this psycho scenario, but amazing, fun party. Like a friend of mine, Brad Simpson, who was a new friend the night before.
Producer of Say Nothing. TV show.
Yeah. The night before, he was like, what's it going to be? There was a buzz about this party at the Chateau before it happened. And the Chateau often has a buzz, but this had this kind of, he was like, what's going to happen at your party? I was like, I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, this is, we're not kids. Like, nothing crazy is going to happen. Like, in a nightclub. Cut to, there were some lesbian makeouts.
Well, yes, we did cover that on the last episode.
I
The
know.
Beautiful Babies are familiar with the girl-on-girl makeout of that we are not, we're not revealing any names.
I'm
but
repeating myself.
Something did.
Okay, I'm repeating myself.
It was a sexy vibe.
So it was really fun. And then my friends, and then the things I've been loving, it's like one of my friends knelt down and said,
oh, this was a kneeling proclamation. That is added impact.
Justin, he said, I think I've said this before too, but it's funny what sticks in your head. He said, you did it. You wrote the Gen X book. You did it. So that means like a lot of people could have done it.
Now, was he kneeling on both knees?
He was holding my hand. No.
Okay.
Maybe he wasn't, but in my mind, he was
felt
kneeling.
it. There was an emotional kneel.
Yes.
Yeah. And
So I've been able to take that in, but you've seen how I can't really take in. What are the parts of the tour? I'm not reading any of the press,
Yeah.
even though it's all good.
It's all good.
Even the stuff that they've pulled for like page.
Well, I like how because there's so much tabloid worthy stuff in the book, and they started, with the low hanging fruit, Anthony Kiedis, Keanu Reeves, and then they're like page 6 is trying to keep the scandal stories going, and they're now down to like Ione Skye slams Gwyneth Paltrow for calling her brother an idiot when he spilt water on her.
Right, which is like one sentence and not really newsworthy, but I know they're trying to. But mainly, I'm not reading that kind of thing, and I'm not watching my press. Like I was curious to see the Drew Barrymore thing, but I was hiding under a pillow, and then so I've been able to take in the interpersonal things and all the nice things that people I know and people I don't know are saying. Like I've been crying reading the book; it was so amazing, and those things. But the press stuff and the news stuff, I can't like watch myself. And
the press stuff though has been incredible because as someone who I obviously live with you, I also podcast with you. I've watched firsthand like the evolution of your confidence in speaking to like a lot of people about very like delicate things. And the way you handled the interviews, I felt like I was like just learning, watching the way you so masterfully, like you did a lot of interviews that they're really like little universes.
Yeah.
If you do like the Ion Pack or Best Show or How Long Gone, these are like you enter other people's worlds.
Bret Easton
Ellis. And you have to show up and match their energy,
and then
but
like
still be authentic.
Extra Hollywood. Like it's all very different.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. But there was Beautiful Babies. Now you get to see what's the front-facing side of Ione Skye, which is articulate, sensitive, creative, very together, reaching levels of achievement we never thought possible, yet behind the scenes, anxiety bruise.
Well, I did really well there was only a few points on the tour because it was really hectic schedule. One where I was like, oh, I can't go on, I must go on kind of thing. But so at the very end, all my anxiety went into the fear of losing my passport, which lay in a beautiful tray in my mother's woman cave, which I was sleeping in LA, which was amazing, which is like my mom's room.
Sanctuary.
Yeah. And I was staying there. And anyway, the whole time that's my passport sitting there. And on the day of packing, I'm like doing a Substack live for the first time with my friend Amanda DeCadenet, who'd never done it. And I'm like have 10 minutes in between each podcast and Zoom and all the press. So I'm like deciding to pack up the last of my things, and I'd put my passport on the very few things I want on my carry-on, and then somehow without thinking, put it back on the desk. Then found
wait. Let's not say where it was. That's got to be a reveal.
No, I am.
Oh, okay.
Back
I
on
want
the
to
desk.
really bring people into the level of anxiety.
And then I found there was like a fan letter. I know this sounds like annoying, but whatever. I had a fan letter with a photograph that's about the same size as a passport, and I put that on top of the passport. Cut to, I go out, do Extra Hollywood thing at Universal City Walk area. And I'm like fried at this point. And then I come back, I can't find my passport. I've packed beautifully, like everything's all packed. So much luggage for this because I had a stylist from Sydney.
Yeah, different looks for every press thing you're doing.
Heavy jean jackets, lots of heavy things. Anyway, and then I'm just like, fuck. And I have like 2 hours till my flight.
And you're on FaceTime freaking out.
I'm just like,
like
all the planes,
also because with
the planes have been crashing.
The planes crashing, the American immigration issues, which are like
the government might be shutting down, might not be shutting down. And I'm just like, oh, I just want to get back to Australia and just relax with my family.
And now for the great reveal, after an hour of hunting, where was your passport?
Do you want to tell us?
It was in the trash. You'd thrown it out with total fixation on doing the right thing with his passport.
I threw it out. It was the bathroom. In the bathroom, the bin in the bathroom. So I'd picked up these papers thinking I'll throw away this. I don't need this little picture of myself and these papers I don't need. And I had hidden it, because I absentmindedly. Anyway.
Just to be clear, I think that photo was not sent to you for you to keep. I think it was meant to sign and return. Yeah. I don't think anyone thought you needed this little picture of yourself. Yeah.
But I didn't return it only because they sent the fan letter to our address in LA, and you're not supposed to
It's not cool.
write back because then they'll like know where you live or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Threw it away. Then I found it, and then I checked it. I had FaceTimed you and made my mom and my Then I was like OCD overload, checking it every 5 minutes and that it was in my suitcase properly, in my carry-on. And then on the flight, I checked where it was 1,000 million times. Neuroses. Then even when I came back to Sydney, I had an anxiety dream that I had to have my passport. It was just little bits of paper. It was such an I put all my anxiety onto that. But I'm going to get that, that little purse that people use when they're traveling around Europe and afraid of pickpockets. I'm going to get that next time I internationally travel and just wear it on the flight, wear my passport, because I think I'll never recover from that.
We know that you will do that with a style that has...
It's going to look bad.
It's like when you started driving a Subaru. Somehow normcore, you
I'll make it look good.
You leveled it up.
I won't get the ones that have like stitching. There's the sort of hippie looking ones probably you can get in Bali where you know what I mean? They have a little embroidery.
You don't want any stink on that bowl. You're just like, this is a straight shot.
I'm going to get like a Velcro, a zipper Velcro on my body.
Well, we've got an amazing guest today that we're going to bring in a second. But before we do, I did want to talk about the PJ Harvey concert that I went to the other night with Kate, my stepdaughter. The night before you got back, she played out the front of the Opera House and it was just extraordinary. Have you seen PJ Harvey live?
No.
PJ Harvey is a master.
Yeah.
Artistically and performance-wise. It's not about... when you witness real artistic mastery, it's not even about whether you like it or not. It transcends that.
Right.
Like you're watching someone work at the highest possible levels of what can be done in the medium. She's in this phase. Every time I've seen her, it's been completely different.
So you've seen her a lot?
Yeah, I've seen her, this was my third time.
Oh, wow.
It's always totally different and always amazing. And it's like I was sitting watching and I was like, man, PJ Harvey's weird. PJ Harvey's really weird. The choices she makes are really weird. But there are so many people there and they're all digging it and it's communicating. Right. It's funny. I said to Kate, I was like, this is really weird music to be this popular. And Kate looked at me and she said, the 90s were a special time. Oh. Our kid. We've raised her right.
Yes.
So the phase she's currently in, it was like seeing a Greek tragedy or some kind of
and I heard she's working with the moon.
She's working with the moon. She's doing some profound moon work. And she also had this element. Personally, I want to see PJ Harvey looking dignified and elegant, surrounded by 3 or 4 old guys that look like they were junkies and have cleaned up.
Yes.
It's like, that's just the vibe I want from PJ Harvey. And it was just... perfect. I just loved it. And it made me think so much about commitment to your vision as an artist and how, I don't know, there's just something so gorgeous about watching someone over decades continue to stay true to themselves and explore it and wrestle with it and grapple with their vision. And it was just excellent.
Yeah.
Just excellent.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance to see PJ Harvey, go see PJ Harvey.
Yeah. Well, I was just playing, after I heard you went, Kate and I were just playing her albums in the kitchen for hours and just listening to them.
And I haven't even listened to the last few, so I wasn't familiar with a lot of the newer songs, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's like the music wasn't that loud. It was like the way music should be, where it's rewarding you if you know it at a deeper level, but you don't have to.
Right.
It was totally an open space for audiences to come in. Should we welcome our guest on the Weirder Together?
Yes, please. Yep.
All right. So our guest today, and this is our first guest since we've been in the studio in this new collab with Curious Media, is an old friend, part of the Weirder Together extended family. We've put out his music on our label, and we've done pods and live shows and all kind of stuff together. And so let's have a chat to one of Australia's premier comedians, Cameron James.
Not too drunk, not too stoned.
Cameron James, Ione understands that you were brought here under the pretense of this being an interview to promote your new comedy special.
Yes.
But truly, this is a St. Paddy's Day intervention.
Yeah.
It is St. Paddy's Day here for us. This will be coming out the day after. Look at us, both in green.
Repping green, repping the shamrock.
Like two little leprechauns.
Of course.
Two little
So
loving
an
leprechauns.
intervention, because what do you really do? You just get drunk at a pub, or
No,
why?
no,
is
you're
it-
not wearing green.
But it's an intervention against
For
me.
you, because
I was thinking
you've
for
been
you
very
guys.
disrespectful to St. Patrick.
You're
Which
about to
is-
get bashings.
And it's surprising. Do you recall when I forgot to dress my kid up in green,
Oh.
and I waited outside a department store until it opened, having an anxiety attack because I was like, if I don't put my child in green, it will ruin her life.
An anxiety attack only surpassed by your recent throwing of your passport
I know.
into the toilet bathroom waste bin.
Bin,
So,
yeah. I got her the cutest green Lacoste shirt.
That is cool.
Was adorable. But
well, I mean,
she
when
didn't
you've
even
learned
care.
0 lessons.
I have learned 0, and I'm not even wearing like green. I have green underwear, so okay.
No, but also you are
But I'm not wearing green
and that
underwear.
doesn't even go with green what you're
I
wearing.
know.
It clashes.
I'm purposefully.
And of
yes.
all of us, you are probably the one that has the most legitimate claim to some sort of real
I would
Irish
say
connection.
you must have a little Irish.
Oh, you do. You
That's
got some-
racist to assume that.
Well, I've got listen. So I've got the Eastern European, where for some reason some people have are little orange haired, and then on my Scottish, little bit of Irish side, there's orange. So I've got redheads on both sides.
Yeah.
For some reason.
I mean, obviously I do as well.
Yeah. My
But I think it's
cousins.
pretty much just one side Scottish, one side Irish.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
I'm, that's why I'm wearing this. But I always have this on me, just
okay.
in case.
Your culture is not our costume. But Ione, now if you had to make some choices about receiving your bashings, would you like them, like me to take one arm and Cam to take the other, or do you want us to just focus on one so you have full use of the other down the line?
Can you just do that type of massage where they do your body like this? That
Sure.
Great.
Okay.
You know when
I don't know if that counts as a bashing, but
Okay.
okay, sure. I think it's
I
fair.
need a little massage.
It's 2025.
So
we
yeah,
we
where
can
would
do
I
that.
get bashings? I could turn it into something kinky, and it could just be spanking.
Yeah. All right, welcome to our polycule.
Yes.
Polycule, is that a
Exciting to
term?
finally
Yeah,
get
that's
an
it.
invite.
That's a term. So Cam, how's it
Yes.
going, man? Congrats
It's
on the
going
special.
Good. It's going good. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're great. We've been excited to see you.
Yeah,
We're
I've been excited
great.
to see you
Yeah,
guys.
we're here, and we're just doing this pod again, and it's a nice studio. But yeah, everything is going really well.
I want to ask you about having a special these days
Mm.
because everyone does them.
Yeah, dude.
Are they really special?
No.
Okay. So is there a new name for them?
Well,
What
I
can you-
avoided calling it a special because I hate that term too, because I
Yeah.
associate it with HBO is giving you money to make a special, and I go, wow, that is special.
Yeah.
If HBO is giving you whatever $1 million to make a special, or Netflix or whoever.
Yeah.
But when you're self-producing it, self-funding it, and it's just going up on YouTube, you filmed a show.
Right.
Right.
And that's kind of what I guess this is. I
But to
filmed a
play
show.
devil's advocate, that amount of self-care that you're showing is special.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you wrote some jokes
Oh, yeah.
and some songs and you
Yeah.
said, you know what, guys? I like these.
These are special.
I don't care if HBO's not giving money. I'm going to film them
Yeah.
on some cameras. I'm going to put it on YouTube because I deserve it.
Because I'm special.
You're special. Yeah.
No, it's like, well, you know what? I was going to call it just a show. I was going to say, hey, everyone watch my show on YouTube. But then I shot these sketches, these sort of like fake behind the scenes elements and wove them throughout it. And when I looked back at the edit, I went, this is special.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to call it a special.
And now I want to look
Hmm.
at the history of when they started calling things as special, which I think would happen in TV. So there's a nostalgia about the term as well, like a special.
It feels old TV, like we're
Yeah.
doing
An
whatever.
ice skating extravaganza special
or the
for
Dean
Christmas.
Martin,
special, yeah.
type thing. Yeah,
So
do that
it's
kind of
good.
thing.
I'm sort of campaigning for a new idea called Mesa, Make Entertainment Special Again.
That's
It
great.
just feels like
That's great.
that joke would not qualify as part of the Mesa agenda. It was not a special joke, but anyway. So wait, Cam.
Would you? But you
That's
call
why
an
you-
album an album. Would you call it an album?
Yeah,
Would you,
an album.
Would you say record? What's the difference?
in hip hop, they say record for single songs now. They'll be like, that record, I've got,
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
have you been hearing about Kanye and Kim having this fight about Northwest being on the song with
Trademarking
Puff
the
Daddy?
name.
and all that?
Yeah.
That's a record. It's a
a
single song,
record.
but it's got the feeling of, it's a momentous
yeah.
kind of thing. Where do you stand on that? Would you let your child be on a
Record a
track
song
with
with-
Puff Daddy?
Puff? I mean,
Is it a grey area?
I think it is a grey area, and it
Okay.
depends on who you are.
Yeah.
And I think Kanye is the kind of guy that would be cool with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I personally,
Clearly.
if I had a child and they wanted to, get in the music industry, I'd probably introduce them to you first,
Right.
more than P Diddy. you know?
Yeah. Did you see the album cover that's coming with the big red swastika?
Is that real?
What
I
was
think
the
that's real.
What was the he was looking for people who were
Yeah, he just put out a casting call
Oh,
for
yeah.
all men,
No
fat
fat people.
people,
I saw that.
must be comfortable with swastikas. I don't want to laugh because, but as a Jewish person, I feel like
Oh my
I can laugh at
God.
the absurdity of it because
Comfortable.
it's just like you have to be comfortable with swastikas. Because I even think Nazis are invigorated by swastikas. I don't think they're just comfortable with them. Comfortable
No.
sounds so casual.
It's if you're a Nazi and you see a swastika, you are so excited.
It's like showing like a heterosexual man, like a centerfold. It's like it lights you up.
yeah, that's so true.
But I did see some on Twitter. I jumped on last night when this all happened, and I saw some
Please call it X.
white supremacists saying that Kanye is culturally appropriating the swastika.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
Are we ready for that conversation?
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ready for it.
I just feel like white supremacists,
so many
do we have to honor their
levels.
culture? I'm feeling like, surely, hey, if what's good for the goose is good for the gander,
Yeah.
it's
It's
gotta be across.
debate. If you guys were on the debate team, you can just take sides with this conversation.
I
like
don't
that.
want to. I don't want to get involved. I can't get involved. I mean,
So let's talk about Gaza. No, okay. So wait, get back to your
That's just St.
special.
Patrick's Day.
Back to your special. So, I think one of the greatest things that's been fun as a fan of yours since we met you in 2020, end of 2020, you're beginning in 21. We've
in the
gotten
middle of the scamdemic.
the middle of that pandemic. Yeah, that's right. Welcome to the resistance. Just kidding. But we got to watch you on this journey of integrating your music into your
yeah.
comedy, and that's kind of been what the last few things have been like. So
Yeah,
give a little
definitely.
background to the heartbreaking musical dreams that were never fulfilled, that have provided the fertile raw material for this comedy chapter.
Yeah, I played music my whole life. My dad's a musician. Both my brothers are as well. My mum sings. My mum sang in the church choir and all that stuff. And so all my life I was just going to be a musician. That was the plan from the beginning. You're going to be a musician. I was going to be in bands and I played in bands all the way through high school, all very serious. And the older I got, for some reason, it became less fun for me and more, I became like a taskmaster. Like I was just driving the bands and forcing people to have practices with me.
I was like that too.
You were that guy?
Well, if you're in high school,
Yeah.
there's got to be a Paul McCartney, as Ione would say,
Oh, yeah.
that's like going to get it done because
Totally.
everyone else, they're
Yeah,
all-
yeah. So, yeah, that's a good way to think of it. I was like the Paul, I guess.
Yeah.
But you want to be John? Because John seems like inspired and crazy and Dionysian, and he's like having all the crazy ideas and getting to party and stuff. But I'm a Paul at heart, and I'm the guy being like, guys,
Right.
hello,
Yeah.
it's time for us to show up, practice time.
Yeah.
And your persona also in comedy and stuff is you are kind of like, you have that guy next door energy, the relatability,
Yeah.
that leading man kind of feel that like everyone wants to be friends with you. Don't you think?
Oh, God. I mean, I
That's
think...
the Paul energy,
I
right?
think I have some element that's within me, probably a little bit people pleasing, maybe. There's a little bit of a people pleaser side to me. And that means that I listen to people a lot and they like me. I think that's the secret.
But you also wouldn't, like, we had you over for dinner a few weeks ago, you and your
And it was delicious,
partner,
by the
and
way.
it was delicious.
Oh
and
yeah, that was a good meal.
Yeah, but I had no fear about letting you cross the threshold of our house There are
Good.
certain rockers that you bring them into the house and you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you
that's
invite
true.
Evan Dando over. It's like
Yeah.
you don't know what's going to happen. There
Yeah,
could-
what's
you'd be-
Kieran J. Callanan going to do in the house?
Exactly. Whereas with Cameron James, I personally felt safe. Did you feel safe?
I have safe
of
guy
course.
energy, I think.
Yeah.
I have very,
But
very safe
exciting.
energy.
But exciting.
That's true. Let's not play down the edge because there is edge.
Yeah,
There
there
is.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have I do. Yeah, it's the war that I have within me all the time is the people pleaser versus the anti-authoritarian. And that's constantly in battle. And it's both sides have served me for good and for bad.
Right.
Like
yeah.
I've had a lot of jobs. I can get the job very easily because I'm great in an interview. I ask the guy who's interviewing me questions. I make him
Yeah.
feel amazing. But then about 3 weeks into the job, I'm like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
How dare he tell me what to do?
Yeah.
And then I'm out.
Yeah.
It sucks.
So
you don't have the people pleasing thing, but you like you don't really have that.
I don't know if I have people pleasing thing, but I do kind of like. I'm probably more like a love bomber.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like I do come on strong
Yeah.
as a way of like endearing myself to people. and
Yeah,
stuff, you know?
that's
You
true.
should call your next album The Love Bomber Manifesto.
Oh, that's
Yes.
great. That's great. Yeah, I like how much are we becoming an alt-right podcast right now? It feels like we're like touching a lot of material that is like people might otherwise go to Joe Rogan for. I don't know,
Yeah.
Tim Dillon. It's like, who knows? Maybe this is a new there's going to be some new diversified income streams.
I think it's important that we tap into that market.
Yeah, I feel like the Australian like indie scene hasn't kind of embraced the alt-right the way the American
I know. There are some people that are kind of alt-right here that have big audiences though.
really.
But it's not Rogan big.
So
Like it's not
name-
$1 billion.
Name some
big.
names. Who's like Kyle Sandilands, whatever.
I guess Kyle is like
Yeah,
a mainstream equivalent of that. He's on the radio every fucking day. I don't know what his contract is, but he's getting a lot of money to just essentially, like, you'd call him a shit stirrer.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Right.
But he's saying pretty outrageous shit. Like the day, this is, I don't know if you can even leave this in, but the day Olivia Newton-John passed away, Kyle Sandilands did a segment on the radio where he was just talking about, he was getting people to call in if they thought that she was so hot that they would root her. Like, call in if you'd like to fuck Olivia Newton-John.
Oh my
Boy,
god.
And
dead?
she just fucking
No,
died.
just in
While she was alive. You mean.
yeah.
Well, she was about
Okay.
to, she was dying. Well, she was
Oh.
dead.
God,
Yeah, like there's people
Yeah.
like that out there that are getting paid a lot of money.
that's yeah.
And I can't do it. I wish I had some element in me that could. I'm too much of a good boy.
Okay, that's it. I've decided I'm not going alt-right.
You've decided?
This is my commitment right now to the listeners. It's not going to happen.
Okay, if you don't do it, I won't do it.
Okay, that's so
Yeah.
good. We got to the bottom of
Yeah,
that,
thank
and you
God.
get your bashings.
Yep.
So wait, okay. So the music. So you were doing the music. You thought
Yeah.
this is what's going to happen. This is
Yeah.
going to be
Oh
your
my
path.
God, I was so serious.
And then at what point did comedy kind of blow your mind?
Well, I got a really bad injury at the end of high school. I got stabbed in the hand in a weird, bizarre accident that took place. So I couldn't play guitar for a little while, for a couple of years, while I was just learning how to move my fingers again. And I was in rehab for...
Whoa. Was the assailant going for the hand, or were you protecting something
It's
else?
kind of embarrassing. It was like, I became friends. Actually, I could relate to this in your book. You talk about there's a group of girls at school that are kind of like the cool chicks or like a little bit bad girls.
Yeah.
And you are just drawn to them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was like with the bad boys in my year. I was definitely not a bad boy, but I just loved being around them so much. And I loved making them laugh and like being in their orbit, in the orbit of bad behavior. And just witnessing it and kind of being able to talk about it and like you're in on it, you know? And these kids, they broke into the school. I was with them, but I didn't go in. I waited outside, you know, while they broke in.
You were the lookout.
I was the lookout.
Yeah. No, you need a lookout.
I'm the lookout.
Don't downplay your
I'm the
involvement.
Paul. I'm the lookout.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they broke into the science labs and stole a box of scalpels, those really sharp scalpels. And we all had scalpels. They were like knives. We had them with caps on them and stuff. And anyway, me and one of the kids were like mucking around or wrestling or something. And he had his scalpel in his pocket and the cap must have come off or something. And it just sliced right through my hand. I mean, you can see there's a huge scar there. Like this finger was dangling.
Oy.
Pretty gross.
Okay,
Hit
now,
an
like,
artery.
That is gross, but I do think it's a stretch to call that a stabbing. Because a stabbing does sound like there was some intention behind
but
it.
a scalpel's
You fell on a scalpel.
But a scalpel's worse than a knife.
It's more fun to say stabbing.
True. I like it. That's the edge. Okay, so you get stabbed.
I get viciously
Tim
attacked and
Heinecker got
stabbed.
stabbed.
Did he really?
Yeah, there's a story about he got stabbed in a bar. As part of his
really?
origin story.
This is part of my origin
Yeah,
story.
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I couldn't play guitar, so I started singing. This high school ended, I started singing in a band, and if I was annoying in school, I was even worse out of school because now I didn't even have a guitar, so I was just really instructing people on what to play, like fucking Brian Wilson, just being like, no, not that, that's not right, but not being able to articulate it. I was a bit of a slave driver in many ways. And then our band toured quite a bit. We got to open for some semi-popular Australian bands as their opener. We got a little bit of radio play. And then the bass player quit. I wonder why, because I was the most annoying guy in the world. And then the guitarist quit. And then me and the drummer were like auditioning people to replace them. And we just drifted apart. It all just crumbled. And around that time, I moved to Sydney because I was dating Alex, who you guys have met, and I moved to Sydney to be closer to her and started seeing comedy, and I just immediately transferred my love of music onto comedy. It was almost like a total identity change overnight, almost. Like music has shut me out. This is a new avenue. I've always been kind of naturally funny and a good talker. I'm just going to now focus on this thing. And it was just like that I did it. It just changed.
Wow, it's so true. So much comedy is like an act of rage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like, it really is. It's that sense of like you got shut out of something. This is an avenue.
Totally.
Do you think musically, so you grew up in Newcastle.
Yeah.
Had Silverchair not happened, was that part of the pull into being in a rock band?
Definitely.
At your age? Like, because there must have been so many kids in Newcastle wanting to start bands.
Yeah.
Going like, if they can do it, we can do it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're that for a lot of people in Sydney as well.
Yeah, I'm like that for like my nephew and nieces. I feel like I sort of ruined their lives by making it seem like moderate success in show business was a realistic goal.
Well, it's just like, because you were what, 14 or
Yeah.
which is the same age Silverchair were. So I bet a lot of teenagers were just looking at you and looking at Daniel Johns and just thinking, well, holy shit, this could happen to me.
Yeah, it can
and
be
definitely
done.
I was like, a bit younger than Daniel Johns, but loved Silverchair. And the music scene in Newcastle is great. It's got a big like punk scene. And my band at the time, emo was really popular, so we were very emo influenced. So,
Did you have eyeliner?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I did all of that. I did anything that was a trend. I just like jumped onto it and went, okay, that's cool. Okay, got eyeliner, skinny tie,
I love a trend.
a fringe.
Did you have eyeliner?
I had a brief eyeliner period. Yeah.
Were your parents like upset about the eyeliner, or
I think
not
they all
really?
just thought it was
everyone
kind of
else
funny.
did it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of other kids.
When you told them it was guy liner.
Yeah, you call it guy liner.
Yeah,
It got
so, yeah.
rebranded as guy liner. Yeah, I think I was just when I look back on my music career, I was way too much of a copycat and way too much of I didn't have my own voice. I just saw other things that were popular and I wanted to be that. I wanted to sort of have the shortcut to success rather than the actual expressing
I thought I
myself.
was sort of, looking back, I thought I had very alternative taste in music. And then when I look back, I was like, I liked Prince, Madonna, Duran Duran. I was like, I liked all.
Pretty underground.
I was like, what? But it felt like that to me. So looking back, I was like, it actually, and I liked U2. Like nothing was, I didn't have many bizarre, except for liking standards and, well, musicals, but still a lot of people like musicals.
Well, I guess
but
when you
you
discover it
think-
yourself, you feel like it is underground because no one showed it to you. It's not like your mum went, hey, check out this Madonna album or whatever.
Yeah.
So wait, so before we get to where the music and the comedy came together, there's this whole really important chapter of your career which is the stuff that you and Alexi did together. The
Totally.
podcast documentaries and the TV show. And that stuff
Sure.
is like, in some ways, that's, I think, where you built a lot of your audience, right? Through that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So around the same time, Alexi and I started this very silly podcast, and Becky Lucas and I started
Yeah.
a similar thing at the same
And they're
time.
both so good. And that was kind of my early days. I listened to you and Becky, you and Alexi, and then I listened to Patience, and I loved Patience and Mel.
And
Battle,
Mel.
yeah.
But it's
the
funny, I
best.
was in America, but like my earliest, and This American Life.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that was it. Like that's all. I just was like obsessed with
Mm.
you, the Australian comedian world, and then like This American Life. And now I
Yeah.
listen to just so many different
Same.
things.
There's so many things.
But
now.
you guys were kind of early on to
I
it.
think it was probably late in the grand scheme of podcasting, but for Australia, it felt kind of
Yeah.
early for us anyway. But yeah, that was similar things, similar time, different uses of my energy. You know, the stuff with Alexi was way more focused. It was we'd research.
plan
And these are
stuff
like mystery comedy. How do you
They're
describe it to people?
so
I mean,
good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I guess that we
sort of journalism in a way, right?
kind of
Like-
journalism. Yeah.
Like long form, which I love, and now is so expensive. People
Yeah.
can't do them anymore.
I know.
It's-
Oh
and-
man, we tried to get like a 4th season up for years, and it just the funding can never come
Why?
through.
So why was it doable before and not? Oh, because there
I
was so
don't
much
know.
money. There was money then, and now there's like not. Anyway, business.
It was
The
like a
business,
new
but
thing
yeah.
for the ABC to do, and they took a
They
chance,
just took, yeah.
and it went well. But then they just their
Now
money
they're just
got
like,
slashed.
It's
No.
hard to monetize too. It's like you got to
Yeah.
be, probably if that IP had been monetizable in some way,
Totally.
they'd do more. But you know,
Exactly.
they're almost most like The Rehearsal, the Nathan
Yeah.
Fielder show, where they're sort
Yeah.
of like it's real, but it's got this twist of this sort of performance art piece to it. But all of
Yeah.
them,
They're
like,
so good. And then your interpersonal relationship or his anyway, these are so good.
Yeah, anyway, we haven't even, so it's Finding Drago,
Finding Drago, Finding Desperado,
Desperado,
and Finding
Finding
Yeezus.
Yeah.
3 seasons.
Yeah.
Each one we have found a bizarre little unsolved mystery in the world of pop culture, and then we earnestly try to solve it, and we did each time
Yeah.
because we just are fucking great.
I
guess.
know.
But
You should now
but
be a real detective.
I kind of there was a moment there where I thought maybe I should just be a
could.
journalist.
And like when I watched Grey's Anatomy for a season, I thought I was a doctor.
Oh,
after that.
yeah.
I was
and
like,
that's
I
just
could
watching it.
do
You
this.
didn't even make it. I mean, imagine being the person who made it.
I
Yeah,
It's a
honestly,
level of expertise.
there were
Yeah.
times there where I thought, I guess I'm a private detective. I guess I can
Look,
just
I
solve
actually
real crime.
think you were. I don't know.
We kind
But
of were,
anyway.
yeah. It was really fun, and then obviously the comedy element of it was that it was an insignificant mystery, so who cares? Like it doesn't matter if it gets solved or not. But then we just really want to solve it, so we did. We put all our resources and time into doing that, and that was really fun. And then at the same time, Becky and I have these improv-based podcast things, which is largely just us talking and going into characters and stuff like that.
When did you realize, do you even remember that you guys would be a good pair? Because you guys are just so
Man.
good
It was like the
together.
moment we met. It was
Yeah,
like
you're
love
just like,
story
this
type
is-
thing. Yeah, like
It's those great, like those times where I was on a real telephone call and you forget you've been laughing and talking. It's so
yeah.
natural.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like when you have that, it's so where you're not thinking like, how long is this call or what should I say? Not that I think what should I say next, but
Totally. But
when it
sometimes
just
you
flows,
do.
yeah.
Sometimes when you're with someone, you're like, and you're having a conversation.
You're kind of thinking about it
yeah,
at the same
you start
time.
getting ahead of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, all right, what can I say next? Sort of
Yeah,
thing.
or like maybe I can multitask while I'm talking, or
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys have that.
I like also that you guys have a space to really just be silly billies,
Oh yeah.
because so much art is, I don't know, it feels like everything's got to have a big point to it and
Oh,
a big,
totally.
and I think the sense of play. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
we love Threedom so much, because it's just
Oh,
like
yeah,
three friends
totally.
being silly billies.
making
we
each
need
other-
more
when
of
you
that. Make
make-
each other laugh.
Yeah, when you guys make each other laugh, that's so much part of what a joy, like the good SNL and stuff. When you watch that, they're actually
my
like
God, I
making
love
each other
it.
laugh. It's so fun.
Anytime people break on SNL and are trying hard not to laugh,
It's the best.
to me, it's the best.
Yeah.
I love watching people trying really hard to keep it together.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally. Like that's with Becky. It was just, I don't even remember when we met.
Did you guys crack each other up?
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
right away. I think neither of us remember the first time we met, but we both tell the story of the first time we met. And it's probably like the fourth or fifth time we hung out.
That's called lying.
We lie,
Yeah.
and we retconned it as that was the first time, but it was we were guests on someone else's podcast, and we
How
just,
romantic.
and we just took over it.
Oh, that's great.
We completely took over, and that guy I don't think even got a word in the whole time. We were just talking the whole time.
You have to make this. That's a good story. Like when people ask, why this memoir for me now? Like what? The true story is I cannot even remember the first two conversations. The one where Ben was like, you might want to write a memoir. And the one where I went to my manager and was like, I wonder if this is the time to write a memoir. I don't even remember those two. So that's not a great story to tell press.
But I'm glad you
Yeah.
took the time to share it now.
But I'm
'cause it's
here. I don't care about this podcast. So that's the story.
You're bringing your real A material to
Well,
our
that's the
pod.
thing. It's like you
But I
need
have
to
like,
invent
come
an
up
origin.
With a great
do.
story.
You
For everything. You need to invent an origin.
Aleister Crowley, you know, the great
occultist.
beast, you know, the occultist.
Yeah.
I was just listening to, you know, Otherworld, that podcast. Her godson, Wolf, is the guest on the Aleister Crowley episodes. And they talk about how invented a lot of his origin story was.
love
He
it.
said that he was born with 4 thick hairs on his chest in the shape of a swastika.
Oh my God.
We're back to swastikas.
It was probably the reverse thing. The one, you know, the swastika.
Yes, this was pre-Hitler.
It's a
too. Yeah, yeah,
reverse.
pre-
The
Oh,
reverse
the-
of it is that kind of.
Still, I don't
Indian-
believe it.
Yeah,
No.
And that he was born in a mucus, with mucus membrane entirely
in a
covering,
cow.
which apparently is a sign of the beast.
You're a seer.
being
It means
born.
you're a
Yeah,
seer.
you're a seer.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
you know about that?
I have a bit of an obsession with that occultist
Yeah,
stuff.
I
I find
love
it all
it.
very fun. I grew up so
Yeah.
Catholic, so all the, you know, there was
You
pictures
know
of
all
the
about it.
there's pictures of the
Little bit,
devil in the
yeah.
Bible and
Yeah.
stuff. It's
Yeah,
like very
it's
exciting.
fascinating.
Well,
yeah.
that was apparently Aleister Crowley. That was part of what he tried to do because he was a literalist. He was in this sect where they really believed the Bible, how he grew up. And he started by praying to the devil. Saying that, like, well, if this is a force,
Yeah.
I should be able to communicate
You
it the
can
same
reach
way
it.
I'm communicating with Jesus or God. Interesting stuff. Anyway, in what ways did Aleister Crowley influence the new show?
Do you know what?
What?
This is actually true. The show that I'm touring at the moment which is called Broken Records. Up until about a day before I had to announce it, it was called Worship Satan.
Whoa.
Right.
And I think because I'm a bit obsessed with that stuff. And I had this grand plan that I was going to do a Satanist theme show and I was going to come out in a cloak and really like do like Alice Cooper style theatrics, make it look devilly. And then about a day before I had to announce it, I was like, I can't be bothered doing any of this shit. Going
Listen,
out and buying a cloak and
I'm
stuff.
going to pitch you a story. My brother and I have tried to write. We've written so many halfway written scripts, but this one script which I love, which is called 668, The Neighbor of the Beast. And it's a comedy sort of about someone who inherits, someone in the family dies. They inherit a house in Amsterdam, and it's 668.
Oh, that's
And next
fun.
door
Right
is
next
the
door.
devil. And the opening song would be the Paul Simon song while he's packing. He's so excited to inherit this apartment in Amsterdam. And it's when I was a little boy, and the devil will call my name, and that, you know, and then he goes, and we never wrote the rest of the script.
So
but-
is this a binding? Are you offering this material
Yes.
to Cal?
Can I have
There
it?
you go, it's
Please,
yours.
yes.
Because I'd say
668, The Neighbor of the
The
Beast.
Neighbor of the I mean, it's a great title.
Right?
It's a great title.
Yeah.
I love folk horror. Do you guys know that
What
sort
is
of
that?
stuff?
Like Midsummer? Yeah.
Midsummer is an example of folk horror. It's
Okay.
daytime usually,
Yes.
foresty,
Yeah.
cult, pagan, sort of
Right.
the Wicker Man.
We could take
the
the
big
comedy
one.
out of this one and make it more that. if
I
you
mean, I
want.
like comedy as well, so
Yeah,
I'm
we
happy
don't
to have a
need
combination
We could
of the
start
two.
it with the comedic opening, but then it goes right into
It goes
just folk.
I love the idea that you've brought music into comedy. You're now bringing folk horror in. What genres are left? You are the great beast of Australian performance.
The Aleister Crowley.
The great
a
beast
con
of
artist.
comedy. Yeah.
It's well, I do actually think of the shows when I'm touring them as genre pieces, which is something I took from working with Alexi, because when we made those documentary podcasts and stuff, we treated each season like it was its own genre. The first one was a sports drama, Rocky, and then the second one was a thriller, and then the third one was like a neo-noir, like internet thriller type thing.
Yeah.
And I do the same with my stand-up shows. I'll go, all right, this is a coming of age, this is a rom-com. This season, not this season, I'm treating my shows like they're seasons of TV now. This season of my life, it was going to be horror, but it ended up being, I've just landed on rock documentary because I watched a million rock all those Penelope Spheris ones. I love those.
Yeah.
And so I'm treating my current live show like it's like the cliche rock show that you would see from the 70s and 80s. Like it's a big rock.
It's so good. So it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? Wait, what's it called?
The Decline of Western
No.
Cinema.
Your special.
My special. It's called Bangers.
It's got Bangers, and it's people can watch it for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's really good because it's like the live show with all this sort of like behind the scenes footage about where the songs came from and sketches and it's so good.
I love Spinal Tap. I grew up loving Spinal Tap and just kind of wanted to do a version of that where I'm playing a character I always end up playing whenever I get asked to do sketch or to act in anything, which is usually a bit of an arrogant idiot, or a guy who thinks he's really cool and smart but is probably not, is actually quite gentle and sensitive.
Oh, I'm so jealous I'm almost there with the character thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's so perfect.
Wait, what do you mean?
Meaning for myself.
That is such an abstract statement.
Well, this is the character.
Yeah.
Mine is sort of a dingbat or something, but I always envied actors that were cast type, where you can say a Sarah Silverman. We're looking for a Sarah Silverman type. We're looking for a Cameron James type. Those arrogant guys who are actually really sweet, but they think they're just come off. But I always wanted to have a type so I could be cast more often or something.
Yeah.
But it's coming together, right?
I would say so. Yeah.
It's like
I don't know what it is.
I think what I think it is like it's you turned up to 11, to use Spinal Tap term, like
Right.
because I never knew what I was on stage.
Right.
If I came off stage after doing stand-up, I didn't know that I had a persona on stage. I just thought I was being me.
Yeah.
And then and I am kind of, but then people would always say, oh, I love that you're up on stage. You're a guy who thinks he's way cooler than he actually is. And I was like, I think that's just me. I think I'm a guy who actually thinks he's cool, but is like probably a little bit of a dork or a little bit nice or whatever. And so that's just bleeding through.
Right, yeah.
And then you just crank the dial up on that.
Do you feel like when you're on stage, do you feel like that's the real you in a sense?
Oh, God. I mean, yeah, I think so. What about you?
I do too.
Yeah.
I feel like in some ways, I probably show the best side of myself.
Yeah,
but
for
it is
sure.
really the best side of myself. It's
And
not
it's also
fake,
you
you know.
have
Yes.
a kind of cool, sexy thing that comes out sometimes.
Yeah, I'm a little crazy, sexy, cool. Yeah.
Wait, you added a crazy in there.
Isn't that TLC album?
Oh, okay.
Crazy, sexy, cool.
Crazy. That's a weird run of things.
Crazy.
I think they
Cool.
each got to pick a word that describes them. That's my imagination.
Is that the band?
That's
one
the
with
origins.
the one eye?
Lisa Left
Lisa
Lopez.
Left Eye.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that documentary?
Is there a TLC
When
doco?
she went down to South America.
Yeah,
was it
she
culty and
went
was
off the
really
grid.
interesting.
She was
made
early off the
everybody-
grid.
Really?
She went off the grid and
She
made,
saw the pandemic coming.
she made everybody go vegan with her or something. You know, when you just make
right.
everyone do what you're doing.
That's what I
It's a
would've been
born
like.
again thing.
If
I
kept
used
being
to
in
be like
bands.
that. Oh my God.
Oh,
You
yeah.
discover
Well,
something, you're like,
that's what Cameron was like with his bands.
Oh,
early
dude.
on. He was like,
It would have been if I stayed being in bands all through my 20s, I
just
would have been
still-
like, we're all on the same diet.
Yeah.
We're all doing the same.
It's leg day, guys. It's
Yeah.
leg day.
I literally told people what to wear and stuff. Like
Amazing.
it was pretty embarrassing when I look back. I found a whole bunch of old emails from when I was in my early 20s and stuff to the guys I was in bands with. And it is
Amazing.
literally me like telling them what to wear and sending links to shirts I think they should buy. And like,
Let me tell you, the
Sure
green
is.
memo can still get lost. You know what I mean? It's like even as adults,
That is amazing.
aesthetics are important.
it's hard. You know, we're in a visual medium. So what shows have you got coming up? What's going on?
Oh,
Where
yeah.
can people see?
Well, I'm
They can
touring
watch
at
the
the
thing on
moment.
YouTube.
Yeah, they
Bangers.
can.
Watch that now.
And I love it. I loved that, putting that together, because it's essentially just like my best bits from the last few years.
Yeah.
A bunch of songs, a bunch of jokes, but I wanted it to be a bit crazy. So there's improvising, there's crowd work, and then the sketches throughout it are all improvised as well, which is fun. It feels alive to me when I watch it. Like, it feels like, for better, I said in the edit, for better or worse, this is 100% my sense of humor. Like, it may not connect with everyone, but I have to stand by this. This
That's
is
so
me.
good.
Like, and
This is me.
This is me.
Did you like that song from The Greatest Showman?
I've never seen the movie, but
You
I
should
like the
play
song.
that song in your AirPods before you go on stage. It'll just really pump you up. I think.
Cab world, here
Yeah,
I
exactly.
come.
That's you, Cam. The great beast. He's born.
But I'm touring at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm touring. There's always a tour on. But yeah, I've got a new show. It's called Broken Records. And it's, bunch of songs, bunch of stories, bunch of jokes. I've never said this or anything. I've been avoiding saying what it's about. But it is my relationship with masculinity as explored through my comedy and my songs and stuff.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
amazing.
It's about masculinity, really. It's a tough one to bring up, because whenever you hear a male comedian being like, I'm doing a show about mascriminity,
Yeah.
you think,
Like
"Oh,
Jordan
okay."
Peterson or
Yeah,
something.
all right,
Yeah.
interesting. But it's about how, like, I grew up in the suburbs in a kind of rough town, and I wanted to be a tough guy, but I'm, I was an arty kid. And it's about that fight between both of those things in me, like the wanting to be the tough, cool guy, wrestling a kid with knives in his pocket, and also wanting to just sit in a room and listen to music and be nice.
Do you cry in it?
No, I don't. I try. I mean, who knows? I might.
Ooh, so you
I
really,
haven't yet.
It's shamanic. You're up there. You don't know what's going to
I'm
happen.
trying to be present and feel whatever's happening.
Wow.
I've come close to crying on stage a couple of times. I think I've never fully broken down, but I've had tears in my eyes. But I'm not in charge of it.
Yeah, I've never cried. I mean, I've welled up a little bit every now and then, a
Yeah.
lyric or something, or a moment with what's going on in my life, but I've never actually wept.
No, I've never stood there and wept.
No, it feels a bit indulgent.
It's- I'd be
Who
too
has
sold.
wept on like what rockers or whatever.
I mean, once you get into that, it's a bit like who's pretended to weep. too,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? 'Cause
Well, I
it's like,
know a lot of
Michael Jackson, I bet, there's multiple
yeah.
things
Oh
of
my
him
God,
weeping.
of course.
Yeah.
He would have cried on stage.
and Diana Ross, of course, and a lot of.
Wait, why Diana Ross? I'm not familiar. Does she cry a lot? Is she emotional?
I don't know. I just when I think of her, sometimes singing.
She might feel the feelings.
Yeah.
There's a thing in the comedy world when you're putting your hour together, because it sort of became a trend, I think, in the 90s, I guess the one-man show type thing, where you want to have a moment of catharsis or a moment of poignance at a certain
Right.
point in your hour. And I think my shows all have them, but then I've never cried in them. But some people do. Some comedians will get up on stage and they'll get to the 45-minute mark of their show and they'll start getting emotional and they'll cry. And there's a part of me that always thinks, there's no way you're feeling this.
Yeah, I don't trust
If you're
it.
touring the show
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you've done it 50 times,
Yeah.
I don't believe that on
Yeah.
show 45 you're actually feeling it.
Man, it's reminding me of I did this one play, and there was a point in the play I was so jealous of this actress because I'm below her for some reason, sitting on the ground, and she stands above me and she does a little speech, and on the same line every night, I would feel a drop on my shoulder from a tear that she would push out of her eyeball,
Whoa.
and I was like, how do you do that? Because I'm not a
Yeah.
good.
How do they do it?
I will pull it together for a scene, but it's I'm not one of those. I'm not good at crying on demand.
Can you, like, if you had to do it, if you would,
When I was a kid, I could do it. I remember
Yeah.
being in school, and we would like, have a challenge, like who can, and then I lost that. I got
so much more in
self-conscious.
touch with the raw emotions when you're a kid. You probably can just do that.
Yeah.
But as you get older,
And you could, you have the ability
Yeah.
to, but you're just,
There's
there's
a part of you
something
that's
that's
like,
too
wow.
vulnerable.
Wait, should we all try and cry right now?
Oh my God.
Let's see if we can do it. Let's all. The first person who has a tear run down their cheek wins. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. So wait. No scene or anything, right? We're just gonna do the three of it. Okay. Okay. Here we go.
I don't know about 3 minutes.
We're all gonna 3 minutes.
I thought you said 3. Oh, we're all gonna 3. Okay, sorry.
No, we're
Let's
all
go.
gonna try. Okay. Here we go.
I can't.
Okay, failed experiment.
Too hard.
It's too hard.
Too hard.
Beautiful
Because
babies.
I immediately started trying to think of sad things, and then I'm like, oh, is that what actors are doing? I was just
Well,
like,
I have a lot. We're not going to talk.
we
about
have to
I have a
remember.
lot of-
We can do a whole part 2 on crying techniques.
Yeah, different methods.
because I'm now just imagining every actor is sitting there on set being
I
like,
only have tricks also for like if you get giddy during a scene, what to think of to stop.
to focus
The
yourself.
way that men would think of things not to orgasm too soon or something. But if you're like giggling too much in a scene, I would just think of really sad things.
Well, can I just take an earnest moment and say, Happy St Paddy's Day.
Thanks for celebrating
Happy
it
St
with
Paddy's
us.
Day, Cam. It's been so
St. Paddy's
so beautiful to share this St Paddy's Day
Paddy's Day,
together.
It
Some
has
of us
been.
worked a little harder to honour it, but then
I'm
others.
really
but still,
upset. I'm really upset.
But it's been a beautiful thing.
I'm
to
so
all be
upset
together.
that I could actually cry.
It's happening, guys. It's happening.
I can actually cry. That's how hurt I am. The annoying.
Beautiful babies, thank you for tuning in to Weirder Together podcast. Cameron James, our first guest in the new studio.
Oh my god, really?
Yep, special day.
Christening it.
You're christening it on
Wow.
St.
Took a
Paddy's Day.
spin in the new car.
And yeah, everyone follow you. I am Cameron James on everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do a deep dive into
Follow
all of
me.
his body of work.
Yes.
Follow me in real life too if you see me.
Yeah, just follow him.
Follow me.
He welcomes that.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah.
My wife loves
no
it too.
stabbing, no swastikas.
No, absolutely
That's
no
it.
swastikas.
That's where he draws the line. Beautiful babies.
We
See
love
later.
you.
Bye,
See
beautiful
you.
babies.
Together we're weirder together.